What's up guys, and welcome back to Ben's Big Drive. Now, one of my favorite parts of disc golf is getting to know and to love your disc. So what are we doing today? I'm glad you asked. We're doing an in the bag. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna start off with I guess we'll start off with the bag. I've got a grip the big one, the A1 sauce one. I absolutely love it. It's the best bag in the game in my opinion. We've got the Bomb Disc little pin there because most, if not all of these came from Bomb Disc. Go shop at bombdisc.com. And as you can see, I'm an Innova guy. I'm not like an Innova guy, like as in they haven't sponsored me. Please sponsor me. But I absolutely love Innova, and I throw mostly all of it Innova disc. So I got some patches. This used to be an Innova patch. It fell off. An Aviar patch and a nice Rock 3 patch. So you can see where we're going with this. Let's start off with putting putters. So these are my main two guys. I've got two KC Pro Aviars. Well, I've got like a million of them, but these are the ones that I go to and have for years. See, I've even got a little disc cam so I can show you what we're working here. I mean, you know exactly what they are. They're KC Aviars. I have to have like a nice firm putter. It doesn't really matter to me, bead or beadless, but I like a little bit of size. And these are nice and firm, and I just haven't ever switched. But I've been trying out the new Sexton Fireflies, which I've been liking a lot because they're a little grippier and have a little more glide. So I don't know, maybe if I can work it into a practice sesh, maybe these will be the ones that are in the bag. Stay tuned. So those are my putting putters. We'll put this over here. I guess I'll just like stack them on my keyboard over here. That's fine. Okay, so now moving on to approach discs. So these are my favorite discs in my bag. Right here, I've got the Prodigy A3. Innova, I know, I hate to throw other companies, but yeah, I mean, if you really want me to throw just Innovas, just sponsor me. But this is an absolutely beefy disc. I use this one pretty much only for forehands over like 270 to 300 in that range that I know I need like a straight flight and then it's always gonna fade. And this is like super stiff, so I get a good skip out of it. Next we have the Zone. Again, Innova, dude, I love you. But until you sponsor me, I'm gonna be throwing the Zone because they're awesome. But if you don't want me to throw the Zone, just sponsor me. I will burn this disc. Actually, I'll give it away to somebody. But Get Freaky Crystal Flex. It's been in my bag since I got it, and it's absolutely money. This is my most used, probably the most used disc in my bag in terms of what I throw. This is an Aviar X3. It's max weight. I think all of my all of my discs are max weight, but this one has an unfortunate signature here. See, Matt Schindelbauer is a local player, and I found one of his discs, and I was like, you know what, if you want it back, play me for it. And he's like, well, that's not really fair because, you know, I don't have anything to put on the line, so if he wins, he gets to sign his name on my disc, and you can see how that went. So now every time I pull this disc out, which is like so many times during a round, I get a nice little reminder of my big old fat L. But nonetheless, it's a very like point and shoot. It used to be really stable, but it's now just a point and shoot. I use this for forehands, backhands, and it really has no glide, which is like sounds like a bad thing, but it absolutely sticks next to wherever you throw it. So if you put this disc on a good line, it's going and it's sticking right next to the basket. So this is probably my second favorite disc in my bag, and we'll get into the favorite one later, of course. So mid-ranges, moving on to mid-ranges. As you can tell by my bag, I have a wide selection of mid-ranges. They're all Rock 3s. I have 3 Rock 3s in my bag, starting from the most understable. This is a Tour Series Rock 3, and it's got this nice like marbled look because I left it outside for like 3 months. So this is the most understable of my Rock 3s. It's really nice and stiff and grippy. And this is the one that if I want to rip it, it's going to flip up and it's never going to have that late fade. So I know it's just going to ride to the right and never want to skip back to the left. So this is a really soft disc, and I can throw it at lower speeds and get that straight flight with the typical Rock finish. So this one comes out quite a lot, and I love this Rock 3. My second Rock 3 instability is just your classic DX max weight 180 Rock 3. This one is in the middle of the stabilities. It's still pretty overstable, but it's gonna get a little more of that like late flight turn. It's still gonna like come and have that classic rock left finish at the end. But it's a little less stable than this next one, and it's DX, so I like to have one of these in my bag at all times so that I can just continue to beat this one up until it takes that spot, it's booted, and then we'll move another one in. These are a dime a dozen, but they're absolutely money. And which brings us to our last Rock 3, which is a Star Rock 3. It's a sweet little bottom stamp there, which I absolutely love. And I've had this disc for years, and it has never changed. It is not really overstable, as in if you put some anhyzer on it, it's gonna ride that anhyzer line. But the best part is no matter what line you put it on or how hard you throw it, it's gonna behave like you want a mid-range too, but it's always gonna finish and it's always gonna have that late fade. So if any type of wind, even I'll use this disc all the time. It's like perfectly grippy. It's where you've worn that Star plastic down to where it's nice and grippy. And this one comes out quite a bit as well if you always want it to finish left. So little nice bottom stamp Rock 3, had that one for years. Moving on to fairway drivers, I guess. So we'll do the same kind of thing, start from understable to most overstable. This is a disc I feel like is slept on. We've got a Star TL3. I've had this disc, and that's a common theme. I really don't go through my disc. I kind of like keep a disc and then use it for like 5 years. But this is a TL3. It started out as just a pretty straight driver, but now after it's been beat in for so long, full speed, it'll get like a long turn over to the right. And again, it's one of those that if you have to if you're not in a great position or have bad footing, you can throw it at a lower speed, even forehand, and get a little turn out of it. So this is a great disc for any situation. If you're stuck and behind anything, but you still want a little more push. And it's just gonna have that, I mean, it's an 8-speed. It's gonna have a little fade at the end, but that's our Star TL3, and I love that disc. Go get one, you need it. Moving up in stability, I hate to say this, like I literally hate showing you this, but it's a Page Pierce 5-time Undertaker. Innova, like you got to put up or shut up at this point. Sponsor me. So this one is probably two or three ticks more stable than the TL3. At full power, it's still going to turn a little bit to the right, but I can pretty much in a fairway driver situation count on this one to be money in a straight line and even a tiny little bit of fade to the right. So I hate to love it, but you know, sometimes Innova, you just have to sponsor me. So moving up in stability, we got a Thunderbird here, big germ Thunderbird. This is a really kind of like pretty overstable disc, but the thing that I like about it is it's not as fast as like a distance driver. So when I pull it at full speed, I'll get a nice 300 of just like pure straight, and then it'll fade to the right. So I don't use this one very much. It's very pretty. I love it, but there's a very specific amount. If I want to go straight for not as long as I would need to throw like a distance driver, but then have it finish left, this is what I'm throwing. Big germ, T-Bird, Thunderbird, T-Bird is something else. And then we have a Firebird, and you can see this one has been beat to heck. I've had this disc in my bag forever, and I absolutely love it. I'll throw this disc for approach shots, even if it's like a 50-foot chip that I just need to like make sure it skips. I'll throw this disc, and it came out meat hook stable, and even after beating it in, that's my favorite part, is it hasn't really lost that meat hookness, but meat hookness. That's our new band. Check out our new band, Meat Hookness. Still, it's got a little more glide to it, to where if you put the Annie on it, you can get it to go down a fairway to the left, and then it'll finish back like a Firebird does. So I have a bunch of, I have Sexton Firebirds, but and as much as I love Nate Sexton, I just can't take this one out because it's so money. And again, once that Star plastic gets beat in, it just gets grippy, just love this disc. So Star Firebird, never coming out of the bag unless somebody else decides to sponsor me. You don't want that to happen, Innova. Make it happen. So now we'll move on to our distance drivers, and you'll see a common theme here. I don't like to throw that many molds, so I like to have one mold, figure it out from there, get a bunch of different types of stability and wear, different levels of wear. So we'll go to the distance drivers here. All of these are Wraiths. So I absolutely love the Wraith. It's my favorite distance driver. Nothing feels the same in my hand. And this disc right here, This is my favorite disc of all time. I think if I lost this disc, I might have to quit disc golf because I've had this disc for years. And it pretty much has gone with me through ups and downs, the highs and lows, and I've gone through a lot for this disc. I've lost this disc 3 separate times. I drove all the way to Idlewild one time to get it back from somebody. I literally like put on waders and got in a pond. There's video of that. I'll show that to you at some point. To find this disc through the snow, ice, like the postal service. This disc is never getting away from me. A nice little deuce stamp star Wraith here. And so that's definitely my favorite disc in my bag, and the most flippy Wraith. Probably my farthest flying disc. Moving up in stability, got another Wraith here, just a star Wraith, 12-time Ken Climo. This one is just a tick newer, so really not that much different, but it will hold up a little better. I can still get that hyzer flip out of it. But this one is if I just don't feel like throwing it in the wind, have any sort of wind, sniff a wind, I'll pull out this one instead of my purple one. So, and then here is our most stable regular Wraith. We have I knew that was gonna happen at some point. So we have our most stable Wraith right here. This is the Jomez Pro Wraith. Shout out Jomez Pro. I got this one off the Jomez Pro shop not too long ago. So this one is basically brand new, flies just like a Wraith does. It's pretty stable. I can trust it in any sort of wind, backhand, forehand. So this is my newest Wraith. Doesn't get thrown a lot, but again, that's why you work them in. I'm not gonna stack them the same way so they don't all fall down again. Maybe that was my fault. And so now we have a Halo Wraith. This one is very stable. Pretty much just a straight line disc, fight out of anhyzers, come to the ground fast. The reason why I like this a little more than say a Halo Destroyer is I find that with the lower speed and just the shape of the Wraith, you get a little more glide than you do out of your, if you were to get a Calvin Destroyer or something. So I use this one for spike hyzers or as max distance hyzer shots. So again, doesn't come out much, but it's pretty, so we keep it in the bag. So moving on to our last 3 discs here. These are our max distance drivers. I've got a 2-time Ricky Sakibot. No, not a Sakibot. It's just a Ricky Destroyer. RIP Ricky. Innova. There's so much space now. Imagine how much money Ricky was making. Now you have money to hire me. Make it happen. Innova, sponsor me. So Ricky 2-time Destroyer. This one started off really, really stable, and I have just beat the crap out of it over the years. It started out a forehand only disc. I like the stable disc for forehand, but now I'm actually working this into my backhand rotation because it has been beaten up so much that it has started to betray me with forehands and roll over. So now this is becoming a backhand disc, and I can imagine using this one for the next off season after going through throwing training, that this one is going to be one of my most went to drivers for this upcoming season. And then on the other side, we have a Metal-flake Destroyer here. This is brand new Metal-flake utility disc. Again, spike hyzer, skip shots. I could really rip this one on an anhyzer into a windy situation if I had to. This is not going to be the disc that's giving me max distance, but it's good to have one of these in your bag. This is the utility fast. I mean, I could forehand the heck out of this disc, use that in a windy situation. And then lastly, I have a Nuke SS. Again, Innova, make it happen, sponsor me. This is, I found this underground basically. This was under so many leaves. It was as if somebody had a burial service for it and then covered it up. And so maybe I'm cursing myself. This is Smitty Yibberman Jensen. He was #1's disc. This is a Nuke SS. It's purely for rollers. I can rip this as hard as I can on a hyzer and it will flip over to a roller. So if you want to learn how to throw a roller, find a disc buried 6 feet under the ground that's super flippy anyway, and then just rip it onto your hyzer line like you always do. Flips over, you got a roller. So that's my roller clinic. That was a free tip. You don't have to pay for that one, even though you came to watch the In the Bag video. But other than that, I've got my Trash Panda Mini. So shout out Jesse at Trash Panda. I got my Trash Panda Mini. I really hope I can hold on to that one for a long time because I have the worst habit of losing minis. And so yeah, those are the discs that I'm going to be working with for the 2022 season. And basically this is just a long letter to say, Innova, if you don't sponsor me, what are you doing? You've lost your mind, man. I'm out here like repping your stuff. I'll take the Zone out of my bag. I'll take the Nuke SS out. I don't need those. What I need is for you to sponsor me. Like I said, you got a Ricky's gone. You have all that money. I could take $10,000 a year to go live in a van. I'll sleep in my car. No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't want to patronize you. But that's it for this one. Innova sponsor me and follow along for more of Innova sponsor me. Ben's Big Drive.